Hello again, my fellow pilots and my fellow aircraft maintenance personnel. Your host is always Haitham Ali, and I'm an aviation technical instructor. Welcome to my aviation nuggets for today. Today we are going to speak about an APU basic description for the Airbus A320. APU basic description for the Airbus A320. Okay, everybody, so probably you know that the APU is located in the aft cone area, unpressurized area, in the APU compartment. It is a fireproof compartment, and the APU is meant to allow the aircraft to be independent from electric and pneumatic power sources. Okay, everybody? The auxiliary power unit, everybody, is installed in the fuselage tail cone area, and the APU is mounted in the APU compartment, which is an unpressurized compartment, fireproof compartment, and it is hanged in the compartment using rods. As you can see, we have aft APU mount, left hand forward APU mount, and right hand forward APU mount. Three mounts are there, and the APU is hanged in its compartment using tie rods. Okay, the APU, everybody, is a gas turbine engine, provide a mechanical rotation for the load compressor and the gearbox. Load compressor is meant for bleed pressure, and the accessory gearbox, everybody, is having the APU generator to supply the aircraft with electrical power. Okay. So, how air will be supplied to the APU? Thanks to the air inlet ducts and air intake and flap. Okay. The flap of the APU must be open, providing air to the gas turbine engine or the power section, and also to the load compressor. So if you ask yourself, everybody, what is the main three modules of the APU? We have three modules: power section, load compressor, and the gearbox. Power section, load compressor, and the gearbox. Power section is a gas turbine engine, provide mechanical shaft power to rotate the load compressor and the gearbox. Load compressor is meant to provide the aircraft with bleed or pneumatic power, and the gearbox mounted APU generator supplies the aircraft with electrical power. Okay. So, the auxiliary power unit is installed in the fuselage tail cone. It is unpressurized area, and it is a fireproof compartment. The exhaust muffler, everybody, provide the unused gases during shutdown to go to the outside, and if a surge problem happen to the load compressor, this air will be vented overboard thanks to the exhaust muffler. Everybody. Okay, so tie rods, everybody. Tie rods attach the unit by a 3-point mounted suspension system. We have 3-point mounted suspension system. Aft APU mount, left hand forward APU mount, and right hand forward APU mount. Again, aft APU mount, left hand forward APU mount, and right hand forward APU mount. So, tie rods are meant to attach the APU, okay, or attach the unit by a 3-point mounted suspension system to the structure bracket on the compartment ceiling in a fireproof compartment. So if you've ever been asked what is the type of the compartment regarding the APU, or APU compartment is a fireproof compartment, and the suspension system of the APU, 3-point suspension system. 3-point suspension system. Suspend the APU. Tie rods are meant to suspend the APU into the 3-point suspension system to the structure brackets on the compartment ceiling. Aft APU mount, left hand forward APU mount, and right hand forward APU mount. And right hand forward APU mount, everybody. Again, aft APU mount, left hand forward APU mount, and right hand forward APU mount. Right hand forward APU mount, everybody. Okay. So how you can access the APU compartment? You have a pair of access door on the bottom of the tail cone, open outward to let the APU be lifted and lowered in order to do an APU change or removal installation. So in order to allow engineer or ground mechanics to access the APU, we have a pair of access doors on the bottom of the tail cone, open outward to let the APU be lifted and lowered. To let the APU be lifted and lowered, everybody. Be lifted and lowered. Okay. What about the air intake system? The air intake system comprises air intake and flap and air inlet duct. Air intake and flap and air inlet duct, everybody. This air intake system allows air to be supplied to the gas turbine engine or power section and also load compressor. So everybody, the APU actually has two compressors. Compressor for the gas turbine engine or the power section, and another compressor which is called load compressor. The power section or gas turbine engine provide mechanical shaft power to rotate the load compressor. To rotate the load compressor, everybody. So air intake system duct, ambient air to the APU inlet plenum. APU inlet plenum. The air intake system duct, ambient air to the APU inlet plenum, everybody. We have fixed diverter, air intake and flap, fixed diverter, air intake and flap, and air inlet duct, and air inlet duct, everybody. Okay. So the air intake system include a fixed diverter, air intake with inlet flap, and air inlet duct, and air inlet duct. What is the function of the fixed diverter, everybody? The fixed diverter are meant to increase ram air recovery for flight operation and also prevent any fluid that may leak on the fuselage from entering the air intake. This is the function of the fixed diverter. If you have an APU shut down in flight and you need to operate the APU during flight, the fixed diverter increase ram air recovery. The fixed diverter increase ram air recovery for flight operation if you need to operate the APU during flight, and also prevent any fluid leak on the fuselage from entering the air intake. Air intake with flap, we have a flap actuator. During operation of the APU, if you press on the master switch energizes the electronic control box and opens the flap. This flap actuator is an electric actuator. Okay, it's open and closed electrically thanks to the master switch, and also may be operated mechanically on ground if you need to dispatch the aircraft with a shutdown or with a B-snag APU. Okay, everybody? So we have air intake and flap, and an air inlet duct, guide air into the power section or even the load compressor. Power section or even the load compressor. So again, everybody, what is the three main module of the APU? Power section, load compressor, and gearbox. Power section, load compressor and gearbox. Power section is a gas turbine engine, okay, comprise reverse flow combustion chamber and has its own compressor and turbine. A gas turbine engine provide mechanical shaft power to rotate the load compressor and the gearbox. Load compressor and the gearbox. Load compressor provide bleed to the aircraft, and the gearbox has the generator mounted on the gearbox to provide aircraft with electrical power. To provide aircraft with electrical power, everybody. Okay. So, what about engine control, APU? The APU, everybody, is a FADEC engine control principle, full authority digital engine control. FADEC, full authority digital engine control. Has its own computer electronic control box. Control and monitor the APU operation. The electronic control box, ECB, control and monitor the APU operation during starting and all operation. And also the ECB may provide automatic shutdown or emergency shutdown. Okay, automatic shutdown in case of an APU parameter going out of limit, and emergency shutdown in case of fire. Okay, everybody, in case of fire. You know that the APU has an auto extinguishing function. Okay, auto shutdown function during fire on ground. If a fire happened to the APU while aircraft on ground, you know that the APU is an unattended operation engine. Unattended operation engine, so the pilot, first officer, or engineer may operate the APU and leave the cockpit and go out. So in that case, the APU is running. It may suffer from a fire, so that it must have an auto shutdown function and an auto extinguish function to the fire. The fire bottle will deploy automatically, and the ECB will commence an emergency shutdown. So, what is the difference between automatic shutdown, emergency shutdown, with normal shutdown? Automatic shutdown and emergency shutdown, the APU will shut down immediately without cool down cycle. If you operate the APU and take bleed from the APU, or have a bleed load on the APU, so if you need to do a normal shutdown to the APU, it will shut down after a cool down cycle. But during automatic shutdown or emergency shutdown, even if you have a bleed load from the APU, it will go for a cool down cycle first and then shut down. It will go for a cool down cycle first and then shut down, everybody. So this is the ECB, everybody, electronic control box. ECB control and monitor APU operation. ECB control on the fuel control unit. AC generator. Control the cooling fan. Has its own power, electronic control box. Has its own power from a permanent magnet generator. Permanent magnet generator. When the APU run, the permanent magnet generator on the gearbox supply electrical power to the ECB, electronic control box. Okay. Feedback signal coming from the inlet pressure and temperature sensor. ECB provide inlet guide vane control actuator control. ECB provide control over the inlet guide vane control. And also ECB, when you do or when you put master switch on to operate the APU, ECB energize, and then ECB will open the flap. Flap actuator will open the flap, and the flap open message will come on the lower ECAM APU page. Also ECB control on the bleed control valve. Bleed control valve, everybody. Here, everybody, is a bleed control valve for the APU APIC APS3200 is employing two functions. Bleed load function and the surge control function in the same valve. bleed load function and the surge control function in the same valve. So this bleed control valve is electrically controlled by the ECB and the muscle pressure fuel operation. So you open the bleed control valve when you press on the APU bleed push button on the air conditioning page. Okay. So during starting, when you press on the master switch, it will energize the ECB, electronic control box. It will energize the ECB, electronic control box, everybody, and also open the flap. So after a while, when you have flap open on the lower ECAM APU page, you push on the start push button switch and the gas turbine engine will start to operate. ECB, everybody, is connected to the centralized fault display system for byte function and fault memorization and for troubleshooting and maintenance activity. Also, ECB, everybody, controls the ignition system through two igniters for the reverse flow combustion chamber. If you ask yourself, everybody, again, what is the three module of the APU? We have power section, gas turbine engine has its own centrifugal compressor, reverse flow combustion chamber, and the two-stage axial flow turbine. Gas turbine engine power section provide mechanical shaft power to rotate the load compressor to provide bleed load to aircraft pneumatic system, and also power section or gas turbine engine rotates the gearbox which mounted or which have an AC generator to provide aircraft with electrical power. The APU starter is an electric starter located on the gearbox. And the lubrication unit, which is the main component for the oil system, and the fuel control unit, which is the main component for fuel system, are mounted on the same shaft. Okay, what about the oil system of the APU? It is a wet sump system. What is meant by wet sump system, everybody? Which is the gearbox is the oil tank. So it is the wet sump. The APU don't have a separate oil tank. Okay? The gearbox is the oil tank, so that it is a wet sump oil system. Everybody. Okay, so APU control is a FADEC principle, full authority digital engine control, FADEC type computer. And the FADEC comprise of electronic control box plus engine systems plus engine sensors, or ECB plus engine peripherals or APU peripherals. What is meant by peripherals? Engine systems plus engine sensors. Engine system plus engine sensor. Okay, everybody? Okay, so the ECB, everybody, has the following function on the APU. Control of the APU start sequence. Monitoring of the APU speed, EGT, and the bleed air supply. Normal stop sequence and automatic or emergency shutdown. Normal shutdown, automatic shutdown, and emergency shutdown. Normal shutdown, automatic shutdown, and emergency shutdown. All of these functions monitored and controlled by the ECB. Failure indication for troubleshooting. We may have fuel low pressure on the ECAM APU page. We may have low oil level on the ECAM APU page. Fuel low pressure signal coming from the pressure sensor mounted on the fuel control unit. When the pressure of fuel coming to the fuel control unit is less than 15.8 psi. So a pressure sensor located on the fuel control unit send to the ECAM fuel low pressure. And the low oil message that may come on the APU ACAM page will come, and this meant that we are not in need for an immediate supply of oil. Okay, everybody? The APU may operate for more hours, maybe 10 hours, maybe 60 hours, according to the type of APU, if it is APS or if it is Honeywell. Okay? So, pilot, engineer, don't panic if you have low oil level and you are not in need to do immediate oil supply or immediate oil refill. Because low oil level message come on the ACAM, it is come when the oil level inside the gearbox, which is the oil tank, are on the add level. Just add, not on the low level. Okay, everybody? Okay. So again, the ECB, electronic control box, has following function on the APU. Control of the APU start sequence when you press on the master switch. ECB energize and then open flap, and then you have flap open on the APU ACAM page. And when you press on the start push button switch, the ECB control and monitor the starting sequence. So ECB, everybody, monitor of the APU speed, okay, N or RPM, exhaust gas temperature, EGT, for the health condition of the turbine, and the bleed air supply. Bleed air supply. On the APU ACAM page, everybody, you have the bleed load indication and the APU generator indication. APU generator indication. Okay, everybody? Okay. So, the APU, everybody, gas turbine engine, which is called the power section, single stage centrifugal compressor, reverse flow combustion chamber, and axial flow turbine. The APU is a single spool engine based on a modular design, modules connected together, so that the APU may come on the aircraft as fast as we can, and quicker return to service, and best maintenance or better maintenance, thanks to the modular design. What is the three module? Power section, drive load compressor, and gearbox. Three modules for the APU. Modular design including a power section, gas turbine engine, driving single stage centrifugal load compressor, single stage centrifugal load compressor, and an accessory gearbox that mainly have the AC generator to provide electrical power. When the APU operate, everybody, the ECB main function is to control the fuel control unit to have constant speed RPM, constant RPM, so that we have for the APU a generator, not an IDJ, because the APU is running with a fixed speed. No need for constant speed drive. IDJ on the main engine is a generator plus CSD, or constant speed drive. Here, the APU is running on a fixed speed, fixed RPM. So we only need a generator on the gearbox, AC generator. Okay, everybody? So single spool, three module, power section, driving single stage centrifugal load compressor to provide bleed load, and the gearbox to operate or to drive the AC generator to provide aircraft with electrical power. To provide aircraft with electrical power, everybody. Okay. So, power section, everybody, is a gas turbine engine, single stage centrifugal compressor, reverse flow combustion chamber, and the two-stage axial flow turbine. Two-stage axial flow turbine. This is the power section, everybody, that provide mechanical shaft power to drive the load compressor and the gearbox. And the gearbox, everybody. Okay. What about the inlet guide vanes? We have here inlet guide vane control thanks to the ECB. Inlet guide vane control The inlet guide vane, everybody, controls the amount of air discharged from the APU load compressor. So controlling the bleed according to the load that may come on the APU, bleed load demand, electric demand only or electric and bleed, and what is the bleed load? So the inlet guide vanes control the amount of air discharged from the APU load compressor for bleed load demand to aircraft pneumatic system. The inlet guide vanes, everybody, actuator is muscle pressure fuel operated and electrically controlled by the ECB. Again, what is the function of the inlet guide vanes? Inlet guide vanes control the amount of air discharged from the APU load compressor. Okay. How many inlet guide vanes? We have 24 inlet guide vanes mounted simultaneously by a gear train operated by an actuator. And this actuator, inlet guide vane actuator, is electrically controlled by the ECB and muscle pressure fuel operated. Everybody. Okay. So the inlet guide vanes system uses fuel as hydraulic fluid for the servo valve actuator to control the inlet guide vane through the ECB. Inlet guide vane actuator, muscle pressure fuel operated. Hydraulic fluid is muscle pressure fuel and electrically controlled by the ECB. The bleed control valve integrate two functions: bleed load function and the surge control function. Here in the APU APIC. The bleed and the surge air system supplies air to the aircraft pneumatic system while avoiding load compressor surge by having this extra air discharged overboard through the exhaust pipe. Okay, everybody? Okay, so the bleed control valve, everybody, act as a combined bleed and surge valve. Bleed to supply pneumatic to aircraft pneumatic system, and the surge valve to provide extra air to the outside through the exhaust duct. Bleed control valve electrically controlled by the ECB and muscle pressure fuel operated. Everybody, for the APU APIC or APS. The oil system is a wet sump, as I told you. What is meant by wet sump is that the gearbox is the oil tank. Everybody. So a wet sump lubrication system cool and lubricates the electrical generator, AC generator, the accessory gearbox, and the APU bearing. Okay, everybody? And the type of the oil system or lubrication system is a wet sump lubrication system. Okay. The system components are all located on the gearbox except the oil cooler that is located on the APU left-hand side. Oil system components are all located on the gearbox thanks to the lubrication unit. This oil inside the gearbox is also lubricates the AC generator and the bearing of the APU itself. Oil system components are all located on the gearbox except the oil cooler that is located on the APU left-hand side. Everybody. Ignition and starting system, ignition unit, 2 igniter plugs. The ignition and starting system rotates the engine to a self-sustained speed, and the APU will be available if the RPM is more than 95%. ECB control and monitor the APU during starting and ignition. Okay, everybody? It will also start ignition of the fuel air mixture in the engine combustion chamber. Starting system. What about the starting system of the APU? We must have electrical starter motor, an ignition unit, and two igniter plugs. Electrical starter motor on the gearbox, ignition unit, and two igniter plugs, everybody, The gearbox transmits the mechanical shaft power into the APU accessories and rotates the AC generator. Okay, the gearbox transmits the shaft power to the APU accessories and to the APU generator, which are installed on the gearbox bed. What other components located on the gearbox? Permanent magnet generator to provide electrical power to the ECB, cooling fan to ventilate the APU compartment, electrical starter motor, lubrication unit, and fuel control unit. Everybody. The gearbox, everybody, is also the oil reservoir with sump oil system for the APU lubrication system. The gearbox is also the oil reservoir for the APU lubrication system, everybody. The component mounted on the accessory gearbox are the electrical starter motor, cooling air fan with permanent magnet generator to supply electrical power to the ECB, fuel control unit and lubrication unit, and AC generator, everybody. These are the accessories mounted on the gearbox. AC generator is a 3-phase AC generator, transforms the mechanical power into electrical power of 90 kVA to supply the electrical aircraft system with 115 volt 400 Hz. So the AC generator of the APU is 90 kVA. 3-phase AC generator. 3-phase AC generator, everybody. Okay. So I'll stop here, everybody. Please stay tuned for the next session that I will explain the APU fuel system. From Cairo, Egypt, your host was Haitham Ali. And please stay tuned for an upcoming session like this. Everybody, this session are for training purpose only, and this is not a formal training. It is an added value or performance related training session. I need to increase the performance for my fellow pilots and the fellow aircraft maintenance people by this session. So it is not used for maintenance and for operation. Okay, everybody, thank you always for your good listening, and I will see you again very soon. Bye-bye.